Dear students, earlier in the study of genetics, I said about one chapter here, namely principles of inheritance and variation. Here we have studied basic principles of inheritance proposed by Gregor Johann Mendel. That is Mendel's work and his conclusions. And later, the developments which took place in the field of genetics after Mendel, that is post-Mendelian genetics, the details of genetics after Mendel. Now we have another chapter here. This is molecular basis of inheritance. Now in this molecular basis of inheritance, first topic is about this is about DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. Now, what is this DNA? What is the chemical nature of DNA? The structure of DNA molecule as given by the Watson and Crick model, and later about the role of DNA. So, more details about this particular biochemical molecule of the living world. Now, before I explain more about DNA, let me give certain details here as an introduction. Now, in the previous chapter, we have learnt the inheritance pattern, the mechanism of inheritance, and the genetic basis of this pattern of inheritance. See, in the previous chapter, we have learnt the inheritance pattern, the mechanism of inheritance of characters or trait in living organisms, as well as the chemical basis of inheritance pattern. Particularly here, the work of Mendel and his conclusions. Now, at the time of Mendel, no knowledge was available about the chromosomes and genes. That is, Gregor Johann Mendel, who did the fundamental work in unfolding the mechanism of inheritance, he was absolutely ignorant. He was not having any knowledge about chromosomes and genes. Without the knowledge about the chromosomes and genes, Mendel was genius in proposing that the inheritance of traits or characters in living organisms, it is due to what are called the factors, the Mendelian factors. Now, even though he said the factors or unit factors are responsible for a transmission of characters from one generation to the next, but he was unable to mention about the biochemical nature. Now, after Mendel, almost 100 years later, the biochemical nature of this unit factor of Mendel was investigated. Now, this factor responsible for inheritance, it is an unit of what is called the genetic material. So this genetic material, it forms the genes, and the genes refer to the unit factors of Mendel. So at the time of Mendel, what Mendel said, the factors are responsible for inheritance. Today, these factors are the genes, and the biochemical nature of the genes is the genetic material. Now, the living organisms, the living matter, it is made of biochemical molecules. And among the biochemical molecules are the chemical molecules which function as the genetic material. Now, this genetic material is also a biochemical molecule present in every living matter. Now then, what is the biochemical nature of the genetic material or gene-forming material in living organisms? Now, the biochemical nature of the genetic material in most of the living organisms is DNA. So, DNA is the genetic material in most of the living organisms. And in some viruses, the genetic material is RNA. Now, why the genetic material in most of the living organisms is DNA and in some viruses it is RNA? Now, always a genetic material, it should fulfill some qualifying properties. The genetic material should possess certain qualifications, certain properties. But the main qualifying property of a genetic material include: one, it should exist in varieties of forms. So, different varieties of the molecule should exist. Second, it should have the ability to replicate. It should have the ability to duplicate. It should be able to double itself. That is the basic feature, basic requirement of a genetic material. Now, this basic requirement, this basic qualifying property of existing in different varieties, in different forms, and have the ability to replicate. So, when the conditions are favorable, required conditions are available, this should produce a new copy which is exactly its replica. Hence, the process is called replication. So, these requirements are being fulfilled by mainly DNA. Hence, in most of the living organisms, the genetic material, the gene forming material, the material that is inherited from generation to the generation is DNA, desoxyribonucleic acid, the popular abbreviation DNA. However, in some viruses, the genetic material is RNA, ribonucleic acid. Now, even though this RNA is the genetic material in some viruses, but RNA mainly functions as a messenger. RNA mainly acts as a messenger. RNA mainly functions as a messenger. Now, apart from this function to act as a messenger, RNA also has other roles, other functions. Now, the other functions of RNA include adapter, structural, and even in some cases it is a catalytic molecule. So, in most of the living organisms, genetic material is DNA. RNA, though it also acts as a genetic material in some viruses, but RNA mainly it is a messenger molecule. Now, other than the messenger function, RNA also has other functions. Now, the other functions, the other role of RNA are adapter, structural molecule, and in some cases, RNA is a catalytic molecule. Now, these two, DNA and RNA, they are nucleic acid molecules. So, nucleic acid molecules include two types of molecules. One, deoxyribonucleic acid or DNA, another ribonucleic acid or RNA. So, DNA and RNA are the two types of nucleic acid molecules. The nucleic acid, it was first isolated, first reported by a Swiss biochemist. A Swiss biochemist, Friedrich Mischer, a Swiss biochemist who discovered the nucleic acids, and he was the man who isolated nucleic acids from the nucleic acids from the nucleus of pus cells. Friedrich Mischer, a Swiss biochemist, he isolated the nucleic acid from the nucleus of pus cells, and he named nucleic acid as nuclein in 1869. In 1869, he isolated nucleic acid from the nucleus of pus cells and gave the name, named this as nuclein, and that was in 1869. Now later in 1899, Altman renamed this as nucleic acid, renamed this nuclein as a nucleic acid because of its acidic nature. So the biochemical molecule that has been isolated from the nucleus of pus cells by this biochemist, who named this biochemical molecule as nuclein, and it was later Altman who called this nuclein of Friedrich Mischer as nucleic acid because of its acidic nature, because of its acidic property. Now I said nucleic acid includes these two biochemical molecules, one DNA, another RNA. So DNA and RNA are the two types of nucleic acids which occur in the living matter. So among the biochemical molecules present in any living molecule, nucleic acids are the important biochemical molecule. And this nucleic acid, it exists in two forms, it appears in two forms. There are two patterns of nucleic acids. There are two types of nucleic acids. One deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA, and the other is ribonucleic acid or RNA. Now before I explain these two nucleic acids, DNA and RNA, we shall just become familiar about the chemistry of nucleic acids. Now each nucleic acid, whether DNA or RNA, each nucleic acid is a polynucleotide chain. Polynucleotide chain. In other words, nucleic acid is a polymer. Nucleic acid is a polymer, is a macromolecule, is a giant molecule. Now in the living matter, I said are present the biochemical molecules. And some of the biochemical molecules are macromolecules, giant molecules, huge molecules called polymers. Now these polymers of the living world mainly include polysaccharide carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. All these are polymers. All these are macromolecules. So the nucleic acid is a macromolecule, is a polymer. And this nucleic acid, it is a polymer and it is a polynucleotide chain. It is a polynucleotide strand. It is a polynucleotide. Now, why a nucleic acid molecule is chemically described as a polynucleotide chain or a strand? Because each nucleic acid molecule, it has number of repeated monomeric units, smaller molecules. And these monomeric units, the monomeric units of nucleic acids are the nucleotides. Because each nucleic acid is chemically composed of several numerous nucleotides, it is called polynucleotide chain. It is a polymer. Now, polymers are giant molecules, macromolecules, huge molecules, chemically made of, chemically built of, chemically constructed by numerous smaller units called the monomers. Monomers. So what are the monomers? Monomers are the units of polymers. So monomers are the units of polymers. So polymers are giant molecules made of number of repeated smaller units called the monomers. Now here, in nucleic acid, each molecule is a polymer. This nucleic acid molecule, which is a polymer, is called a polynucleotide chain or a polynucleotide strand. Now this polynucleotide chain, this polymer, it is made of numerous smaller repeated units, the monomers. So the monomers of this nucleic acid, the monomers of this polynucleotide chain are the nucleotides. So number of nucleotides are chemically linked, chemically bound to form a long chain of nucleotides, hence the name polynucleotide chain. So how do you get this term polynucleotide chain for a nucleic acid? Because each nucleic acid, whether DNA or RNA, it is made of numerous repeated monomeric units, that is nucleotides, and numerous nucleotides are chemically bound. And the chemical bond that binds these nucleic acids, these nucleotides, to form a nucleic acid or a polynucleotide chain, this chemical bond is called, phosphodiester bond. Phosphodiester bond. Now this phosphodiester bond links these numerous nucleotides and form a long chain of these nucleotides, hence the name polynucleotide chain. And this polynucleotide chain will behave, will function, will act as either DNA or RNA. Now these nucleotides, the units of nucleic acid, these nucleotides, they are made of 3 chemical molecules in turn. In other words, these nucleotides are chemically composed of 3 moieties, 3 chemical molecules. Now the 3 moieties of these nucleotides of nucleic acid, they are 1 phosphate or phosphoric acid, phosphate or phosphoric acid. Second, pentose sugar. Pentose sugar. A pentose sugar. Now this monosaccharide, pentose sugar, a monosaccharide having 5 carbon atom, it is a pentose sugar. This is another moiety. And one more here is nitrogen base. Nitrogen base. So phosphate, pentose sugar, and the nitrogen base. These are the 3 moieties that will form a nucleotide. Now here nitrogen base is linked to the pentose sugar by a chemical bond. And this chemical bond that holds pentose sugar with the nitrogen base, this chemical bond is a glycosidic bond. Same type of chemical bond that is present between the monosaccharide sugar units of an oligosaccharide or polysaccharide. So in an oligosaccharide and polysaccharide, the monomeric units are monosaccharides, and monosaccharides are being held by a chemical bond, and this chemical bond is called a glycosidic bond. Now the same glycosidic bond will connect nitrogen base with the pentose sugar. And pentose sugar is connected to the phosphate by a chemical bond. And this chemical bond is called phosphoester bond. So don't confuse here phosphodiester bond and phosphoester bond. See, phosphodiester bond, it is a chemical bond that will connect one nucleotide with the another. But here, pentose sugar is connected to the phosphate. This is phosphoester bond. So these two are held by phosphoester bond, and these two are held by glycosidic bond. So ultimately, we get a condensed substance, and this condensed compound substance from these three is a nucleotide, and this nucleotide is a monomeric unit of nucleic acid, polynucleotide chain. Now here, as far as pentose sugar is concerned, a monosaccharide sugar moiety of nucleotide, a 5-carbon containing compound. This is a pentose sugar. Now, pentose sugar has the formula C5H10O5. This is a pentose sugar. Now, in these nucleotides of nucleic acids, there are two pentoses. One is ribose. One is ribose. Now, this has 5 carbon atoms, 10 hydrogen, and 5 oxygen. So, this is ribose pentose sugar. Now, another is deoxyribose. So, one is ribose, another is deoxyribose. Why this is called deoxyribose? Now, this is called deoxyribose because it has one oxygen atom less than ribose. So, compared to ribose, it has one oxygen atom less. So, that is here, instead of 5 oxygen atoms, it has 4. So, that is C5H10O4. So, this is deoxyribose. It has one oxygen atom less. So, these are the two pentoses, two pentose sugars present in the nucleotides of nucleic acid. Now, when the pentose sugar is ribose in the nucleotides, then that nucleic acid is called ribonucleic acid, abbreviation RNA. So, RNA, the ribonucleic acid, is made of nucleotides which carry ribose pentose sugar. But in place of ribose, if the nucleotides have deoxyribose pentose sugar, then the nucleic acid is deoxyribonucleic acid, that is DNA. So, this is one major difference between DNA and RNA. So, what is the major difference between DNA and RNA nucleic acids? Now, the difference is in the nucleotides, in the units of DNA, the pentose sugar present is deoxyribose, and in the nucleotides of RNA, the pentose sugar present is ribose sugar. So, this is how the pentose sugar that is present in the nucleotides will determine whether the nucleic acid molecule is DNA or RNA. Now, pentose sugar. Now, this pentose sugar, it has this is the pentose sugar, a monosaccharide having 5 carbon atom. Now, here at this place you don't have carbon, you have oxygen here. Now, this is the first carbon, this is the second carbon, this is the third carbon, this is the fourth carbon, and here is the fifth carbon. So this is a pentose sugar. Now this pentose sugar having 5 carbon atom and 10 hydrogen and 5 oxygen. Now this is pentose sugar. Now this is also a pentose sugar. Then what is the difference between ribose pentose sugar and deoxyribose pentose sugar? Now here, this is the first carbon, this is the second carbon. Now attached to the second carbon, if OH group is there, attached to this second carbon, if OH group is there, then this is ribose sugar. So this is ribose. So ribose sugar, it will have a OH group attached to the second carbon. So when second carbon of the pentose sugar has OH group, then it is ribose pentose sugar. Now in the case of deoxyribose, another type of pentose sugar, so this is first carbon, this is second carbon, this is third carbon, this is the fourth carbon, and this is the fifth carbon. And the second carbon here, it will have only hydrogen. It has only hydrogen, it has no oxygen. Instead of OH group, the second carbon, if it carries only hydrogen, not hydroxyl OH group, but it has only hydrogen, then this is deoxyribose. So you just note the difference between these two pentoses. Now this has OH group at the second carbon, so this has only H group attached to the second carbon. Now here one oxygen is lacking, one oxygen is less. So therefore this is called deoxyribose. So along with phosphate, a nucleotide may have ribose sugar or it may have deoxyribose sugar. When the nucleotide have ribose sugar, then those nucleotides are present in RNA. If the nucleotides have a deoxyribose sugar, then they are present in DNA. Now about nitrogen bases. As far as the nitrogen bases are concerned, there are two categories of nitrogen bases. So nitrogen bases are of two types. Now we have here two types of nitrogen bases. Now one type of nitrogen bases are called purines. Now the purines are one type of nitrogen bases which are double ringed. So in their chemical structure, they carry two rings, and hence purines are larger nitrogen base molecules. And these purines include one adenine. The capital A stands for adenine. And another is guanine. So adenine and guanine, these are two purine nitrogen bases. Now another type of nitrogen bases is pyrimidines. So one type of nitrogen bases present in the nucleotides of nucleic acid is purines, and purines are double-ringed and larger nitrogen base molecules. It includes two types of nitrogen bases, one adenine, another guanine. Adenine is symbol for adenine is capital A and symbol for guanine is capital G. Now another type of nitrogen bases is pyrimidines. Now pyrimidines are single-ringed and hence they are smaller molecules of nitrogen bases. Now here purines include three types of nitrogen bases. One, cytosine. Cytosine. Capital C stands for cytosine. Second, thymine. Capital T. And uracil. Uracil. Capital U. So here nitrogen bases, they fall under two categories. One purines, another pyrimidines. Purines are double-ringed and larger molecules. Pyrimidines are single-ringed and smaller molecules. Purines include adenine and guanine, A and G. And pyrimidines include cytosine, thymine and uracil, C, T and U. So here nucleotides along with phosphate, pentose sugar, any one of these two, and nitrogen base, any one of the 5. So here any one nitrogen base with a pentose sugar and a phosphate will form a nucleotide. Hence here the nucleotide. So a nucleotide has a pentose sugar. Now this is the pentose sugar. Now this is the first carbon atom. Attached to the first carbon atom is the nitrogen base. This is the nitrogen base attached to the pentose sugar at the first carbon atom, and this is the chemical bond. What do you call this chemical bond? That will connect the nitrogen base with the pentose sugar. This chemical bond is called a glycosidic bond. Now here, this is the second carbon atom, this is the third carbon atom, this is the fourth carbon atom, and this is the fifth carbon atom. Now attached to the fifth carbon atom is the inorganic phosphate. Attached to the fifth carbon atom is the phosphoric acid or inorganic phosphate. Now here the attachment of this fifth carbon with the phosphate. Now here this is the chemical bond. Now this chemical bond that will connect the fifth carbon of this pentose sugar with the inorganic phosphate. So what is this chemical bond? I said this chemical bond is called phosphoester bond. This is called phosphoester bond. So here are three molecules. Here are three moieties, and these three moieties, when condensed, they form this unit, and this unit is called nucleotide. Hence every nucleotide, an unit of polynucleotide chain, it has three moieties: phosphate, pentose sugar, and nitrogen base. So these are being held together, and this will form one nucleotide. And a number of these nucleotides are being held together. Now this is one nucleotide. Say we shall write another nucleotide here. So in the another nucleotide you have a pentose sugar, a nitrogen base. So this is a nitrogen base, and fifth carbon atom has the, here it has the phosphate. So like this we have a number of nucleotides. Now these nucleotides, so you have a row of nucleotides, you have a chain of nucleotides. Now all these nucleotides, which happen to be the unit of nucleic acid, that is polynucleotide chain, so these nucleotides are being held to one another. Now this is one free nucleotide, this is another free nucleotide, and many more free nucleotides are present here. Now these two nucleotides are being held to one another. This is the chemical bond. Now here, the third carbon of one nucleotide, this is connected to the phosphate of next nucleotide. So this nucleotide is connected to this nucleotide by this chemical bond. So such a chemical bond connecting these two nucleotides is called phosphodiester bond. So this is one phosphoester bond, this is another phosphoester bond. So you have what is called phosphodiester bond, and this phosphodiester bond will connect these two nucleotides. So when two nucleotides are being connected by one phosphodiester bond, you get a residue. So the residue that is obtained when two nucleotides, the units of nucleic acid, when these two nucleotides are being held by a phosphodiester bond, it results in the formation of a residue called, what do you call a residue that is produced here? This is called dinucleotide. If three are connected, trinucleotide. If many are connected, polynucleotide. So this is how a polynucleotide chain or a polynucleotide strand is produced, and this polynucleotide chain or a strand, it is made of number of nucleotides, and hence it is a polymer. And this polymer produced by large number of nucleotides being held together by phosphodiester chemical bonds produce a polynucleotide chain, and this polynucleotide chain can function, can behave as a nucleic acid, either DNA or RNA, right? So we shall know more about this in the next hour, in the next class.